One of the biggest changes to the real estate market just happened and seemingly nobody is talking about. You may or may not have seen headlines over the weekend of a huge housing bill that was just passed through Washington. And today we're going to be talking all about that. I'm going to be talking to you about what it actually does, what it doesn't do, and the one part that will actually make a difference for you and your family. Because you're not buying in the whole country, you're buying in Minnetonka, in Plymouth, Wayzata. These areas are having a very different conversation than the one that is on the news channel. Now, if you're not familiar, this bill is called the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. And it passed with a vote that, for Washington these days, basically counts as a giant group hug. 358 to 32 in the House. And it became law on Friday night without the president's signature. And I'm gonna let everyone else on the internet fight about that. That's not the point of this video. I care about you and I care about your house. So here's the actual meat of it. The piece getting the most amount of attention is that the big corporate landlords, the funds that already own 350 single family homes, can't keep buying more of them. So if you've been house hunting in Phoenix or Austin, that is the news that you care about because you're going to see more of those corporate landlords in those specific areas. You've probably lost a house or two to an all-cash offer from one of these companies. And, they saw the listing about 11 minutes before you did. Now, the rest of this bill is mostly about building. Finally, Washington is listening to the housing experts. As we have been talking about this time and time again, the issue is not the rates or the house prices. The reason why you are having all of these issues is because of supply. That is the fundamental issue, and this bill finally addresses that. It makes it faster and cheaper to put up new homes with fewer redundant reviews to limit the bureaucracy that gets in the way. Pre-approved designs, so a builder isn't starting from a blank page every time they build a new home. And federal money steered towards the towns that actually say yes to construction instead of the ones that say no to any building there. Now, here's the part that I want to tell you before anyone gets their hopes up. None of this will drop your mortgage rate, okay? Rates are still sitting up around 6.5%. And the law doesn't pretend to touch that or hand anyone a down payment or override your city council because zoning is still mostly a local fight. But it works on this scale of years, not just days, and not your closing date in August. Anytime Washington does something quickly, I always get very nervous. So what does this mean for you, the person that's maybe trying to land here before the school year? Well, start with this. The corporate landlord cap matters a lot more in the Sun Belt compared to what it does here in the West Metro of the Twin Cities. In the West Metro, like I said, Wayzata, Minnetonka, Plymouth, you're mostly competing with other families and not with a hedge fund. Now that was already true before Friday, so the scariest part of the market that you're trying to escape mostly doesn't follow you here. And the thing that's going to decide whether your move goes well really has nothing to do with this particular bill. It's whether you can tell the difference between two houses that look identical on Zillow and are 300 grand apart in 10 years. Because one sits on the right side of the road on the lake and one doesn't. A federal law can't tell you that. The right person on the ground can in about 90 seconds. I actually had a couple, Jackie and Tommy, who found me on YouTube from Colorado. And the same spot a lot of you are in right now, watching videos late at night, trying to learn a place that they had never lived. But by the time they landed, we had an itinerary built out around their actual life and a gift basket waiting for them. So the first thing that Minnesota did was make them feel like there was somebody that was expecting them. That part isn't in any bill, that's just the job and the way that it gets done. So read the headlines. It's a decent bill. More homes is going to be a good thing because when you increase supply, you're going to naturally decrease the demand over time, thus making the housing price increases more affordable. Keep in mind, this does not mean home prices are going to go down. It just means that the appreciation, the increase at which they are going at is going to slow down because for a while, the rate that house prices were going up was completely unsustainable and would lead to a larger correction down the road, which is why when we increase supply and we make it easier for more homes to be created, the better it is for everybody in the long run. If you're planning a move and you want a real idea of what this means for you, feel free to hop on a call with me. All of my information is down below and I'd be more than happy to help you out. All right, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.